All right, Kalinga faculty, we have finally come to the place that we are going to link up or integrate Illumin into the Canvas site. So what happens here is that you're able to do your assessments, put in the scores, and it will show up in the gradebook here. Let's take a look at a few things you need to set up. Now this does need to happen every single semester for every single shell that you get on Canvas. So every single semester you do have to do this as the initial setup for what you're going to assess. All right, let's go for it here. So I'm going to go to, this is the My West Hills portal here. You're going to go to My Courses. All right, and I already logged in ahead of time here. So I'm going to go to My Courses, and the course that I'm going to use is my Fireball Math 15 class. Going into here. So this is my front page. This is the way I have my front page, and what you want to go to is you want to create an assignment. That's how it's going to be presented here. So under the assignments page, you're going to create an assignment. Now I have different categories for my assignment. Well, you guys probably have the same thing here. So there's the homework. There's all my homeworks that I have. These are my exams and also my final. That's the basic structure of assignments to turn in. And so notice if you want to make another category here, a group called SLOs, that's fine. But one thing you should remember is that every individual SLO needs to be an assignment. So it's SLO 1, SLO 2, SLO 3, all those different pieces need to be actually the assignment itself. So I'm going to create a little category here. I'm going to create a little group, and I'm going to call them SLO. Alright, so notice on the bottom here, you should see, hey, there it is, SLO. Now let's create the assignment itself. So creating the assignment. And you can call this however you want to call this in the gradebook, because when you link it up, the prefix that we have to all these SLOs, they're still housed in Illumin. So this could be whatever you like. I can put course level SLO number 1. You can say graphing SLO, whatever you want to do. You can put whatever name you want here. All right, and then you got to think about the point system. In my syllabi, I have syllabus. In my syllabus, I have 5 SLOs listed, and in my syllabus it says that SLOs exams are altogether they're worth 50 points. So that means each one of my SLOs is worth 10 points apiece. And the assignments group that I labeled is my SLO right here. And I'm going in terms of points here. And where do you go ahead to link it? Here it is. Here's the part where you link the assignment to the external tool. So Canvas has this. There's several different built-in features into Canvas. So as you go down, you're going to look for this one right over here. That's the Illumin-WHCC. Please do not hit Lemoore, because then you're going to link up Lemoore SLOs with your class, and it gets really crazy here. So don't do that. Just make sure you click on West Hills College Kalinga. Okay, so now it's going to capture that particular Illumin piece. And then if you want to fill in, this is for you, if you want to fill in a due date, available until when, all this good stuff here, that's all yours to fill in if you need to. I'm not going to fill it in for now. And you can either save it if you're not waiting to publish it, or you can just publish it right away. I'm going to publish it right away. Alright, so here's the piece itself. As you click on it, you're going to have a listing of all the courses that are listed for you in Illumin that are connected to you as faculty member. And so these are mine. I am connected to these two as data steward here. But go back over here. Yeah, since this is the Fireball class, you want to connect it to the Fireball. Just make sure that you don't cross. You pick the right one that you need to here. Okay, so I'm still setting up the first one. So it's Fireball class, and I'm going to want to link this one right here. So link this assignment. It does say that once you do this, you can't be modified. So you are permanently linking this. All right, once you do that, you can click Save and Go. And what's going to come up is your roster of students and a grade to give for each student right here. So there's your roster of students right over here. And this is probably not the best way we like to put in scores, so the scorecard view is the better way. That's going to list all your students all at once and the grade that you're going to give them. And so this one right here, I kind of pre-scored this already. Alright, so let's go for it here. Alright, and the scorecard view is going to give you this view of things here. Here's, notice on the left-hand side, these are all the students in the class. And I picked the small class to get through this faster here. There's the SLO itself. And then you have your equivalent of an A, a B, a C, D, or F. And then NA just means that they did not even take the exam. So there's an NA here. So the scores will not count against you in the final piece here. So let's go for it here. I have my scores already. And I had 2 people not take the exam. That's this one. And then let me scoot over here and let me put in the scores now. There. And a D there and a C there. Okay. Alright, with that, you have one of 2 choices here. And you can say send scores to the learning management system, and this was going to convert them and put them in your gradebook right away here. I suggest you do this first, and once you do that, then you can go on to the reflection template here. So, alright, when you put the scores into your gradebook, it's going to ask whether you want the recommended score. So essentially what's happening here, it's just a multiplier. There was 5 different grades I could have gave. 10 points are possible, so it's just going to multiply by 2 whatever I gave to the student here. And now the one thing you have to do is you do have to click individually here. That's the no fun part here. You got to click individually for every student, go down the list just to make sure that's the score that you really want to give them. And you send the scores. Now the scores are now entered into my gradebook. It is part of the class. It is all good to go. Alright, you keep them there for a little while here. And you can save it if you like, if you want to come back to it later. Or what you want to do is you want to go to the reflection template. Alright, and the reflection template, here we go with this one. And notice it's just a window that you normally would do in Illumin. So it's a picture-in-picture pretty much. Alright, the reflection template. The first 3 questions talk about the assessment piece itself. And so do you think it aligned? Is that what you really wanted to test by the time you actually tested it? Did you think you tested it satisfactorily? Is this the way you want to test it? So I had a multiple choice exam. Maybe this really requires a free response is better. Maybe this really requires an essay. All these activities here. So the activity itself, and then the other one is, did you really get good, valid, accurate data? Or was it just all over the place? So that's the next piece. Alright, the next set of questions deal with the results themselves. So you have, were there anything surprising or unexpected in the data? I just wrote in 4 students didn't even turn in the work. And again, I just kind of put in my own thoughts into here already. Were there any areas where the performance was outstanding? Well, that's good. All students used the correct formula. There was none that did not use the correct formula. That's good. That was a good part of the exam. All right. What students' issues revealed? Yeah, the fact that it was pretty high. From those students, there's 4 that did not even turn the exam, and then I did get a perfect score on one of them. Okay, and then again, put in whatever you like, the more the better. If you really want to talk about the assessment results, the fact that, especially in the lab setting, when they're doing something, you say, yes, they did this part whole class did this part of the test very well. This was not good. These responses will actually be held in Illumin, and you can use these responses particularly to be included in program review. So that's kind of where they go to, and then eventually they bubble up into the institutional level as well, so we can see those. So the more information you like to put in here, the better. Please do. Please take the time to really think through the responses here. Alright, you can save as a draft. You'll be sitting here to finish it off if you want to do it now. Okay, so the difference between these two buttons, this submit and share, that means when you're going to look at program review, your name will be attached to these answers on the reflection template. Alright, if you want to share anonymously, your name is not going to be included in there. No. So whatever your preference is, I just put my name on there just in case 2 years down the road we are doing program review and we want to get some more information. They at least know who to go talk to think through. So if this person right here, I put in this class really needs to be a 6-unit class because there's so much content into here. I want my name to be associated with that, so when program review time comes, we can have a department discussion of changing the unit value to this class, and they'll know who to go to. Alright, so submit and share, there it is. And so we're going to skip these pieces for now. The last one here, if you do want to go to Illumin, you can, and this will give you a little bit more broad perspective of what's in here at this point. Alright, as we logged into Illumin, here's what I came up. I had to stop the video and correct a few things here. I'm coming as faculty. I'm in mathematics. And what do we get to see here? A couple of things I want you guys to notice is the courses are right here. Notice I have an SLO 2 done for the Kalinga class. I have SLO 1 done for Fireball and SLO 2 done for Fireball. And so as a faculty, and here's things we got to switch up, a few things here and there. As faculty, you can go back, you can update the numbers for your scorecards. You can look them all at once. My advice is not to do that because you already did it in Canvas. Let's go to the Results Explorer. Now, Results Explorer is pretty much what are the results of your assessments. When you click on it, you're going to see all the results that you've ever done that has ever been linked to you as a faculty member. So here's all the SLOs that we've done, and if you want to go down and put 100 in here in the field, that's fine. Eventually, when I scroll down, I'm going to use actually the numbers work out better for number 2, SLO number 2. I'm going to look at that one. Let's have a few little options here. You can either do this, and or if the list gets longer and longer as the years go by, as we start using Illumin, which come up here, you have to click on course level SLOs, obviously. And then if you want to dig down to one particular SLO, you can do like this by selecting none, because by default everything is selected. And then you want to say, look, I'm going to look at Math 15 SLO number 2, this one right here. Click on that. And only that one's going to show up. So that's the one I want to look at. Clicking on that. Alright, as a faculty member, here's a few little things that come up. Is that you get to look at your individual classes. So I can see how Kalinga compared to Fireball. There's your two little pieces right there. Alright, if both of them are included, if both Kalinga and Fireball are included, which I put in the results for it, I can go over here and it'll tell me what was my success rate. It is 82.86. Is my success rate? Yes, I passed the SLO. Doing good. There it is. Success criteria was at 70%. Alright, and underneath here, the only weird thing is it doesn't bring up any more data than over here. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to come up here. So if you want to look at individual pieces, that's what you do. Everybody has access to the faculty, but they're also a course coordinator. Course coordinator is just one level higher than a faculty member. Faculty member is pretty much putting in data and seeing your own individual data. Course coordinator, clicking on that, will give you a little bit more broad view of things here. So I'm going to scroll back down. I'm going to look at, and so notice these are all the people now that are teaching Math 15. And I want to look at specifically my 2 classes. Those are the ones I want to look at. And I'm going to look at this again called Results Explore. Clicking on that. And I'm going to say SLO number 2. That's what I'll look at. Okay, back to the exactly same thing that I had right here. One little thing is, notice if you go over here, it's going to say 29. And so that's how many students were assessed. You don't want that. You want the percentage success. So you want it as a percent, and notice the number is going to be exactly the same, 82.86. There it is. All right, now as you scroll down, you get to see individual scores here. So, I'm sorry, not individual scores. Scores by column. So exceed standards, meet standards. The only thing that's missing here, maybe just my screen is off here, far exceeds expectations is off right here. I don't see that column right there. That's actually given. Okay, then you can come over here. If you had so many classes, then you're seeing a whole bunch of different classes as well. If you see some incompletes, that means some things are not done yet. All right, I want to show you that. But remember that reflection template that we did? Now I changed my SLO to number 2, but when you click on table view, you're going to have all the numbers here. So here's these 3 numbers added up to the 82.86% right here. Those are all the ones that either met, exceeded, or far exceeded the expectations. All right. And then underneath here, just in the table view, you can only do it by table view. As you look over here, you're going to see the comments that are made. So what is this all about? This is faculty members. They put this in. They're doing the reflection templates themselves, like I just did in Canvas. And now the question is, are there themes? Are there 2, 3, 4 instructors that notice the same patterns? That, wow, this needs to be addressed. This needs to happen this way. So that's what you look at here. You can look at as responded at a time. So this is individual instructors at a time. These are all the questions, and then you go on to the next course that you did, and here it is. And notice the difference here between the two. This is Arcadia being very lazy right here. Yes, no, none, none, none. I don't want to do that. You don't want to have those. You want to give a lot of information, because this gets passed on to program review. This gets passed on to institutional learning outcomes. You want to have something more like this, where you've kind of thought through the issue. And even though you say multiple choice may not be the best way, and then let's see if other instructors felt the same way here. But I think the best way to view it is by question. So view it by question, because then you see the individual questions one at a time, and if the person submitted as anonymous, they'll come in as anonymous here. Alright, so there's like yes, yes, yes. Everybody agreed that the assessment method aligned with outcome. Now you're talking. Now you're thinking about, okay, everybody thought it was a satisfactory way to assess. Might think about maybe doing free response. Okay, so but you're seeing all the faculty members thinking about this at the same time. So now what are the stars for? These little stars, if you click on it, those are the ones that are going to go on to, even though you can dig back all the way down to the bottom here, but these are almost like the highlighted ones. Those will stick with you. These will go into the program review file. These you can use them elsewhere as you build other things. Program review, institutional learning outcomes. So you're not digging to these individual questions like none, but the highlights are saying, yeah, that's important. This should be really considered later on in the course, or later on in the review process. All right, are we good? We got to this part. We're doing good. Alright, and one last thing we forgot to do here. Let's go back up to here. Let's go back to our Canvas site that we had. And we're going to go to, the gradebook better be there here. So this is back to SLO number 1, because that's the one that we entered. And so you look at grades over here, and voila, you notice it's already in the gradebook sitting there as part of your grades for the class right over here. So out of 10 points, I had 2 people. Again, that scored perfect. And again, the numbers don't make sense because the reflection templates were a little different. And they use different ones for it here. But anyways, there it is, connected to Illumin, connected to your gradebook, and everything is in there right away. Alright, hopefully that helped you as we looked at the integration of Canvas and Illumin.